Hey everybody, Brenda Earl Stokes, owner and creator of Piano and Voice with Brenda. And I got some great feedback about my practice in the park with me, and here I am back in Central Park. My son has a class for 2 hours a couple of times a week in Central Park, and I'm just sitting here. And I could scroll on my phone, or I have been trying to come up with as many creative ways as I can to use my time wisely, because frankly, I don't really have that much time to be practicing, and when I'm near a piano, I'm usually teaching. So it's just like realistic. So anyways, I know I'm not the only person who is in this situation. I am sure you, like me, are sitting places waiting for things. You're taking the subway places, you're having to wait in line places, or you're stuck in traffic, or you're in a situation where you don't have a piano at the ready to practice, but you want to use your time wisely. So today I'm going to show you how to practice piano and singing at the same time without a piano. There's like no piano here in the North Meadow, I promise you that. Wouldn't that be weird if there was one though? That would be very cool. Then I'd know I was Elton John. So there's no piano here, and I also am not really in a position where I want to make a lot of noise. So I'm not going to do like a full-on singing at the top of my lungs, because my son will never forgive me. So what I'm going to show you is how I actually learned to self-accompany. So I was a pianist first, and around the time I was like at the end of my university years into my early professional years, I started singing, and I realized very quickly that singing and playing piano at the same time is really hard. Okay, spoiler alert, it's hard. And so what I did is I broke down like what is hard about it. And I will say that one of the hardest things about singing and playing piano is the actual coordinating of the two things. Okay, so we're going to work on some coordination, and I did this in my Practice in the Park with Me video last week, which I'll link to below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a common rhythm, and we'll do it in a jazz context right now, because this is how I first started working on it. I'm going to take a common rhythm. So in this case, it's the Charleston figure, which is a dotted quarter note and followed by an eighth note. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so that's a very, very common rhythm that we hear in jazz, and is something that jazz piano players, they comp that all the time. You would be very hard to listen to one of the Miles Davis swing recordings and not hear Red Garland or Bill Evans or Herbie Hancock playing that rhythm all of the time. So what I did to practice this, and what I'm going to show you right now, is that I'm going to practice snapping the Charleston figure and singing on top of it. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a standard. I took a trip on a train, and I thought about you. Jink-a-ding, jink-a-ding, jink-a. I passed a shadowy lane, and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, 1 and 2 and 3. A moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, the same old dream. So you see how I did that? Okay, as this is going on, and you could hear I was sort of phoning it, make that sound a little bit, is I'm hearing the whole band in my head. So I'm going ching, ching, which is the ride cymbal pattern, and in my ear I'm hearing a walking bass line. Now if you're not used to that, that's totally okay. There are people coming here. If you're not used to hearing that, you don't have to be hearing all of the notes, but you definitely want to be setting that up as something that is underlying your work, so that you're not just trying to get this this Charleston figure rhythm going. So you're going to make it nice and easy like that. Okay, now if you mess up, that's okay. You can also do this a little slower or a little faster if it helps. So we're going to kick this up a notch, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the Charleston figure and we're going to do it on beat 2. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's going to be still the dotted quarter note, eighth note, but you're going to have a rest followed by the dotted quarter note followed by the eighth note, or if you want to notate it correctly, it will be the quarter rest, quarter note tied to an eighth note followed by another eighth note. All right, a whole kindergarten class just walked into the park, so I'm going to move around. So it's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 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 4. So A 1, 2, here I sing. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. 1, 2, 3. A moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, the same old dream. Okay, so can you hear how I kept that going? All right, so now that we've done the Charleston figure on beat 1, followed by the Charleston figure on beat 2, now we're gonna go from one to the other. Okay, now, be aware, this is not easy. And I'm doing it now, not because I'm a super genius, but because I practiced this a whole ton. In fact, I remember one particular Christmas vacation that I had where I spent, I was at home for like 2 weeks or something from college. And I walked back and forth, pacing my father's basement, clapping all these rhythms and trying to sing on top of them because I was like, I just want to get good at this fast, okay? So we're gonna do the Charleston figure on beat 1 for 1 bar, and then we're gonna do the Charleston figure on beat 2. So we're gonna go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you for 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you for 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. A moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, the same old dream. How'd you do? My fingers are getting tired. All right, so now we're gonna do the exact same thing, but we're going to do beat 2 and then beat 1. So we're doing Charleston figure on beat 2, followed by the Charleston figure on beat 1, okay? This, if you know, there's a song called Hold That Tiger. It's the Tiger Rag. That was Jelly Roll Morton. This is that rhythm. I always think of it that way, but that's a nerd alert kind of situation. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. 1 and 2 and 3. A moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, the same old dream. Okay, I got it. So I want to urge you to use this opportunity, any opportunity you have when you're just sitting there and you have nothing to do, or you're in a place where you can't really practice because you can't make noise or there's people around. This is something that you can very much do in your head almost completely, and practice clapping and tapping. Once you've got the coordination down, I tell you, the whole thing becomes very easily, because then all you have to do is just make sure that you're, playing voicings or playing the chord in some way, which is really, really, just icing on the cake with all of this. You could also use the metronome with this, or the iReal Pro. Anyone who's seen my video on the iReal Pro knows that I'm a solid advocate. So anyways, let me know if this is helpful for you. If you enjoy my practice in the park, leave a comment below. Let me know if you tried it, or if you have any sneaky tips for how you practice when you are waiting places or you're just not really in a conducive environment. I have done this on subways, on trains, on buses. I've done this all over the place, in doctor's offices. You just don't have to make sound out loud, and you can just tap on yourself. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful. Have a great day.